I'd like to think I've made some great financial decisions in the last decade, but I've also made some huge mistakes that have cost me thousands. Like that time I joined the GameStop hype without really knowing what I was doing. Welcome back to my channel where we're building wealth to live life on our own terms, one money move at a time. Today I'm sharing 5 money mistakes that I made early on to help you avoid the same pitfalls. If you're ready to take control of your financial future, you're in the right place. I'm Rami, a real estate investor on track to retire in my early 40s, sharing all of my tips to help you achieve financial freedom without sacrificing the little luxuries along the way. So let's get into it. My first mistake was following what I like to call get-rich-quick schemes. I'll admit it, I really wanted to fast-track my way to wealth. So much so that I invested in a few quick ideas that didn't really pan out because number 1, I hadn't done my research, and number 2, they weren't for the long term. So story time. I know you guys remember all the hype around GameStop in 2021. At the time, my best friend and I thought it would be a great idea to become day traders. We were always on the hunt for new stocks to invest in, and honestly, during the workday, I was looking at my Robinhood account and figuring out what to buy, when to buy it, and when to sell it to try to make money each day. So enter GameStop. She calls me on the phone and tells me that people are investing and we have absolutely no reason why. Instead of doing research and trying to figure out what was going on, I immediately opened my Robinhood account and invest $500. It started going up. I couldn't even concentrate on work that day. I kept looking at how the $500 was growing. After it had grown a little bit, I decided to invest more. How about another $500? My problem is that instead of slow and steady, I like to just do things all at once if I see them working even just a little bit. So at this point, I'm feeling good about myself. It's still going up, but then it starts coming down. And the problem is when you haven't done your research on something and you've just followed hype, you don't know when to exit. So I call my friend and I'm panicking. Do we hold? Do we sell? Do we double down? I had no idea what I was doing. So while other people became multi-millionaires that day, I actually ended up losing money because not only did I buy in too late, I sold too early. That's a cautionary tale to not invest in something that you have no understanding of. There were also other stocks that I invested in during my brief stint as a day trader, and let's just say I really didn't make much money. I invested hours each day and really don't have much to show for it now. And granted, there are people that have the expertise to do this, but I'm not one of them. So now I've made the conscious decision to only invest in things that I've researched well and are for the long term. That keeps me focused on my overall goal, which is early retirement. Number 2 is not having a clear purpose. I made a lot of decisions in my 20s and some were great and they led me to where I am now, but some really didn't make much sense. They were pointless and they sucked my time and energy. If I had spent some time thinking through my why during that season, I would have developed clear goals and milestones and made sure that everything that I did was connected and laddered up to that. Now I know my why. I desire a flexible schedule to spend more time with the people that matter most to me and give them a present and refreshed version of me versus what's left at the end of a demanding workday. That means being able to go on field trips with my kids, have midday lunch with my husband, or even pursue passion projects without burning out. Now every decision that I make is in service of that goal. So for example, I recently got a bonus from work, and instead of buying a Chanel bag or doing whatever it is that I maybe would have done a few years ago or wanted to do, I decided to invest it in the stock market. Because I did the math and it shows that I can actually shave off 6 months on my retirement journey by doing so. If I didn't know my why and understand what all this was laddering up to, I may have had different plans for that money. Number 3 is not diversifying my investments. So I'm glad I got into real estate when I did. I invested in Austin in 2018 and it was really a great time to get my feet wet with real estate investing. At 25, I didn't have lump sums to put in the stock market, and so it was great to be able to leverage debt to start my wealth building journey. And I had seen my parents invest in real estate, so it was also a natural way for me to start. But one thing I do wish that I had considered is the power of compound growth in the stock market. As I made more money, I ignored the stock market and kept focusing on real estate. And my real estate investments have done well, but I missed out on years of compound growth from stocks. And it's all because it seemed like such a huge beast to me and I didn't take the time to learn out of intimidation. If I had a time machine, I would go back and automate stock market investing so that I could take advantage of compound growth over the long term. It's important to balance on your way to early retirement across multiple types of investments. So now I have both real estate and stocks to make sure that I'm hedging my bets. Number 4 is keeping too much money in savings. It feels good to have a big balance in the bank. Like, I used to just log into my account and stare at the balance and honestly feel joy. But the opportunity cost was a lack of growth. And at that time, I was making around 0.05% interest in a traditional bank, which is tragic. Now, all I keep in savings is what I need for 6 months of expenses in case of an emergency. And I have that in a high yield savings account. The rest is invested in real estate or the stock market where it can actually make more money for me. Holding on to too much money is a great way to ensure that you're gonna work forever. The other day, one of my friends told me that he was nervous to start investing in the stock market because all of his money could go to zero. And that's something that I've heard people say before. Theoretically, it's possible, but it's not probable. It's important to do your research when you're investing. For example, over the last 50 years, the S&P 500 has returned around 10%. So it's unlikely that your money is gonna go to zero. The wealthiest people became wealthy by investing. I think that's the most important thing for us to remember. And obviously there's a real fear in investing knowing that your money is going to fluctuate. What I'm more fearful of is working forever. Number 5 is forgoing my company's 401k match. Early on in my career, I didn't understand the impact of compound growth. I didn't even invest in my 401k in my first job. Talk less of getting the company match. I figured I'd worry about retirement later and I left thousands on the table as a result. Now I make sure to invest enough to get my company's match and benefit from long-term growth. Whether you plan to retire early or you plan to retire at 65, it's never too early to start thinking about retirement and making sure that you're investing the right way to actually make it a reality. What are some money regrets that you have or advice that you'd give your past self? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you get wealth tips weekly, and stay financially fabulous.